Hey everyone, welcome back to a SimStudio demo. Today I'm going to be showing you a really easy way to set up a Slack bot. So let's go ahead and click on Run Manually in the Start block, and let's say on Webhook call. The default webhook provider is Slack, so let's go ahead and hit Configure. There's some instructions here, but they're pretty simple. All we need to do is go to the Slack apps page, and let's create our new Slack bot. We can say from scratch. We'll name this one Test, and then pick a workspace that you need to create your Slack bot in. We'll hit create, and then we'll take this signing secret right here. Let's copy it, and let's paste it back into the signing secret here into the Slack webhook. Click Save Changes, and then we can verify that it was successful. And now we're going to have to add some permissions to our Slack bot. So if you go to OAuth and permissions, we're going to add in the ability to read the message that it was mentioned. So if we say @test, we'll be able to read that message, and then we'll give it the ability to write back in a Slack channel. So if we go into OAuth and permissions here, then we'll scroll down to bot token scopes. Let's say add a token scope, and we can see @mentions read, and then let's also say chat write, which is great. So both of those are already saved and added. Then we can go to event subscriptions and add a listener to our Slack bot. So if we go back to Slack, let's go to event subscriptions right here underneath OAuth and permissions. We're going to enable events. And then for this request URL, we're going to paste in this webhook URL. Make sure that you save your changes with your signing secret before, because this webhook URL will change. So we go back into Slack, we paste in our request URL, and then underneath that, we're going to subscribe to certain events. So let's add a bot user event, which is @mention. So now anytime anyone mentions our bot, we'll be able to listen to that event. So if we click on Save Changes, it should work. And then the last part of this is to actually install the app into our workspace. So if we say install to SimStudio, it'll allow us to grant access. So let's say allow. Great. And then the last thing is we need to take this bot user OAuth token. This is how we're going to pass in the OAuth token to send messages back into Slack. So great. Let's make sure we copy this. And then we can also test this webhook to make sure it works. And if it's successful, then great, it should be working. Then what we can do is with that copied Slack token, we can go into our environment variables here. And we can say, add a Slack token, and let's paste in that value that we saved from our app, or you can just paste it in directly. I already have a Slack token, so I'll go just ahead and use mine, but you should do this for your setup. Then let's add an agent onto the canvas. Let's pass in the webhook as the user prompt, so the context of that conversation, and let's give a system prompt like, you are a Slack bot, respond in a friendly way to the user. And then at the end of this, let's just add a Slack tool to send a message back into Slack. We can send it to a specific channel. Of course, if you want to send it back into the same channel that the webhook came from, you can just access that parameter by taking the channel name from this JSON response that's sent back in the webhook. But for the purpose of this demo, I'll just send it into eng test. I'll give the agent one response content here. And then in the OAuth token, I'll just go ahead and paste my key that I have here. But if you have your Slack key that you paste in your environment variables, you can just reference it like that. But I'll go ahead and paste mine in. The last part of this is going into Slack. So once I'm in Slack, I can then say @test, and then it'll ask you to add it into this channel. So it can only listen to channels it's already been added to. So okay, let's say added to channel. Great, we've added it in. Now let's say, hey there, how are you? So now what it'll do is it'll go and trigger our workflow and send a message back. So of course this workflow is pretty simple. We just have GPT-4o and the Slack message sending back, but of course you can connect many different tools and send it back to the Slack channel. So as we can see here, it responded to us, and so we can continue the conversation.